webinar. Lisa Donner here from Liberty Nation, and you are coming from parts unknown in Europe. So we're going to ask our viewers to give us a little grace here. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. So you've written a series called Disruptive Technologies that has to do with how they disrupt political events. And I'm just going to go devil's advocate for a minute here and say, well, hell's bells, aren't all technologies politically corruptive? I mean, in the 20th century, couldn't we say that the telephone was politically disruptive? And can't we say that, electricity was politically disruptive?
In one sense, you can say that all technologies change societies, and in that respect, it will, to some extent, disrupt politics. But some things are far more disruptive than others. So that by disruptive, I don't just mean changing things, I mean radically changing, having a significant and dramatic effect. Now, the telephone changed a lot of how we communicate, but it didn't actually change politics so much. When I say talk about politically disruptive technologies, I mean radical changes to the politics.
Okay, so give me a few examples. Let's say someone just wrote or read part one. What are some of your examples of disruptive technologies politically?
Well, the traditionally best example is Gutenberg, the printing press from the 1400s, which made possible Martin Luther and the Protestantism and the fall of the Roman Catholic Church. Not the fall, but the fall of its great power. So that's an example of how one technology enabled a huge political transformation. And we're seeing the same thing now today with the internet. So the internet is playing the same role as the printing press did back then. And it has the same kind of earth-shaking effects on politics. Like, for instance, Trump, he would never have been elected without the internet because the mainstream media was against him, but there was an alternative for people to talk about and spread information that otherwise would not have reached the voters. So that's an election that was actually directly affected by the internet.
Okay, you also mentioned Bitcoin. Let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. And I want to know, how is Bitcoin regulated or handled in the U.S.? And what do U.S. Bitcoin users need to be aware of if they are going to use that technology?
Now, there are different regulations in different states, and some are more draconian than others. But generally speaking, they will not allow you to buy Bitcoins on an exchange or something like that without giving up your ID. So you have to ID yourself so that it becomes de-anonymized. So that if authorities want to track your movement, they can actually do that. And this is to prevent all sorts of criminal usages of Bitcoin. So there's really nothing an ordinary user of Bitcoin needs to be particularly aware of, except that whenever you buy something with Bitcoins, the authorities will want to have your passport or some kind of ID to see who the buyer is. That's basically it.
Well, I think it's fair to say that the Bitcoin has not exactly caught on here in the U.S. Why isn't it used more widely?
Well, there are several reasons for that, and the most important one is that it's still very difficult to use. You still have to be kind of tech savvy to be able to use it. That's number one. Number two, the value fluctuates a lot. It's only a couple of years ago it was below $100, and now it's up to above $1,600 or something like that. So it's fluctuating a lot in value, and it makes it a little bit uneasy to use as a store of value. You don't want to have your paycheck that's stored in Bitcoins. So that's one reason. A third reason is that, well, you have pretty good payment systems in the U.S. Just if you swipe your card, you'll be able to pay with it. So in terms of that, it's really good. It's only for bank transactions that you really see the advantage of Bitcoin, and you probably see that advantage more in other countries, like in developing countries and stuff like that.
Okay, before we go, mention a few of the other disruptive technologies that you talk about so that we can continue this video series for our viewers.
All right. The most exciting and controversial one that I'd like to mention is biotechnology, and essentially gene therapy. With gene therapy, you can cure a lot of diseases, and you can make your babies in the future more healthy and improve them in ways that you want. Or if you just want to have them change their eye color, green eyes or blue eyes, you can do that with gene therapy very easily. And it has a lot of impact on the abortion debate, because many abortions today are motivated by illness. Like, for instance, Down syndrome is today an illness that motivates a lot of people to have an abortion. In the future, it's possibly to correct the genes of the fetus so that abortion becomes completely unnecessary. Now, there is an interesting debate going on which shows that this is a politically charged topic in Europe, where there is now emerging a group on the left which is pro-choice when the fetus is healthy, but when the fetus is sick or has an illness, they are pro-life. So they want to ban all abortions whenever the fetus is unhealthy, but they don't care about the healthy fetuses. This is kind of odd, you might say. It's bizarre, but it seems partially to be motivated by identity politics, that they don't regard it as a disease, but as diversity. If you are a devil's advocate, you might think that, they don't like to abort fetuses that might give them power in the future to tax. They will dangle the Down syndrome baby in front of you and say, look at all the poor people in the world. We need to have a lot of taxes. So there was a saying that says that people on the left, they don't tax in order to help people. They help people in order to tax. And if there's a technology that removes the need for helping people because people are healthy, they will go bananas. That's my belief.
All right. Well, there is a lot to chew on there. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to talking to you again on Liberty Nation TV.